Today I'm going to talk about when is the next cryptocurrency bull run of 2018. The facts you need to know. If this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, be sure to click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, Certified Financial Planner with Sickle Hunter Financial Advisors. If you've heard of cryptocurrencies, you've probably heard of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, along with a ton of other cryptocurrencies, can be used as a currency and to simplify transactions. So why is this really important? Because not only is it going to lower the cost of exchanging money or getting money, the transaction costs are going to be reduced, but by the World Bank estimates that there are actually 2 billion people. That's 2 billion with a B. Billion people in the world that don't have access to financial services, such as a bank. So there's no bank for them to go to. And their local currencies, if they have them, are unstable for political or economic reasons, making it very difficult to build wealth, hold wealth, transact business, pretty much to do anything as far as financials go. Given the explosion of smartphones and cell phones globally, this can help allow all these people who don't have access to a bank to now have access to some form of a currency where they can buy and sell goods. So if you're thinking of a business, whether or not it can grow into whatever space it's going to grow into, you want to think of the potential, the opportunity that it has to expand. So when you have 2 billion people who don't have access to any currency, they're probably a lot more likely to use cryptocurrencies if given the opportunity. So there's definitely a large market for it. The second fact is really interesting, and that is smart contracts. And the opportunity in smart contracts seems to be quite large. So a smart contract is a way that you can execute a transaction. The value or the opportunity in a smart contract is the ability to transact business not only securely, but to give a backbone to that transaction. Today, if you do a transaction, there could be a legal agreement in place to help protect whatever agreement you're going into. And the recourse is the legal system. If there's a breach of contract, then you have to go and sue the other individual or entity. You have to win and then collect. The interesting thing about smart contracts is they have the ability to wrap all that into one piece. So not only can you pay for a good with cryptocurrency, but you can also embed a form of code that will ensure that that transaction goes through, that good or that service is delivered. And if it's not, then you automatically can have the potential to get that money back instantly. So let's think of a couple of opportunities here. If you're donating money to, say, a charity, and that charity is going out and doing something other than what they say they were going to do, it can be encoded that that money will automatically go back to you if they try to do anything else besides the work that they said they were going to do. Another one is going to be on the political landscape. If you donate money to a politician who says they're going to go out and do something and they don't do it, you can get that money back if it's in that smart contract. So it's another way that you can think of it as reducing corruption or mistakes along the way. The next one is looking at ICOs, or initial coin offerings. And I'm looking at this as it's unlocking the potential of what cryptocurrencies can do and will do in the future. So there's a ton of development that's going into the cryptocurrency space. And what goes hand in hand with these ICOs is the fact that a lot of other companies around the globe are getting into cryptocurrencies. Warren Buffett was quoted as saying, "Almost with certainty, they will come to a bad end," as if cryptocurrencies are going to crash. I find this really interesting because Burlington Northern, the railroad that Warren Buffett purchased for Berkshire Hathaway in 2008, is a part of the Blockchain in Transit Alliance. Now, this is an alliance that's focused on figuring out how to make cryptocurrency work for the transportation industry. But on the other hand, he's saying that, hey, this isn't going to work. So I find that really interesting that Burlington Northern is a part of it, but that doesn't come up when he's actually speaking about cryptocurrencies. The CEO of Chase Bank, Jamie Dimon, has also come out over the last year and said that he didn't think that cryptocurrencies were here to stay and that you shouldn't invest in them. He later came back and retracted those statements and saying, well, wait a second, maybe that's not true. All the while, there's a cryptocurrency called Ripple that over 100 banks around the world are using, including, or financial institutions, including American Express, Bank of America, and Chase. So they're using cryptocurrencies to improve their transactions and the way that they do business. So I'm going to put a link for the Blockchain and Transport Alliance down at the bottom, as well as a list of the banks that are involved in cryptocurrency. So you can see that it's expanding all over the world in many different forms and many different ways. There's a ton of information and strategies on how to invest in cryptocurrencies. And one in particular that I recently was reading on Forbes.com talked about 3 separate points. So the 3 points, I'm going to read them out. The first point was be aware of the bots. The second one was allocate your assets based on your risk tolerance. And the third one was resist overtrading and FOMO. FOMO, fear of missing out. I thought that one was really interesting, FOMO. So anyways, so the first one is talking about beware of the bots. And what this is really looking at is market manipulation. So how do you guard against market manipulation? So how do you invest when you're trying to avoid the effects of market manipulation? Well, market manipulation could put the price down or it could bring the price up. But either way, you have to have an idea of where you think the price is. So if the price is X, and the current price is lower than that. So this is the valuation. This is the valuation that you think it is. And this is the current price. So if it's down here or if it's up here, you need to know what you think the company is valued at. In this case, a cryptocurrency. The second one is talking about risk tolerance. Risk tolerance is really looking at the volatility of prices. Now, as far as cryptocurrencies go, or currencies in general, they're extremely volatile. So allocating your assets based on your risk tolerance and the amount that you can actually lose. In the crypto space, it is a huge gamble. So you want to make sure that these dollars are certainly dollars that you can lose. The amazing thing is a lot of people have put their money on credit cards to buy cryptocurrencies. And a lot of these credit card companies have said, listen, we're not going to take on this risk. You can't go out and buy any more cryptocurrencies with the credit card. And credit card companies take on a ton of risk. Think about the appetite for risk on those large institutions when they're not allowing that risk on their credit cards. So number 3 is really interesting. There's 2 parts to number 3. It's resist overtrading and fear of missing out. So the resisting overtrading is trying to tell you, listen, if you're going to buy something, you should hang on to it for the long haul and understand there's going to be a lot of volatility in the middle. The only way that that works is if you know what it's going to be and you know where it's at. So over time, you're hoping that it gets close to what you think it should be. But if you don't know what it should be, then holding it, so holding it for the short term or long term is the same gamble. It doesn't matter how long you hold it for. If you don't know what the value should be, then there's no way to evaluate it. The second piece to number 3, the FOMO, fear of missing out, is absolutely true. You're jumping on the bandwagon, and it's a common herd mentality when you're investing, that no one wants to be the person that's standing on the sidelines when everybody else is making money or appearing to make money. A better question to ask yourself is not when, but it's to ask yourself if there will be a bull run, if this will take off. And you have to look back to 2001 with the internet bubble, where there wasn't much of an argument to say that the internet wasn't going to be there. It's just nobody knew what form it was going to take. But people were still caught up in measuring clicks to websites that didn't have any sales. And the same could be said of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies could very well change the way that anybody does business or transacts or interacts in the world. There's a lot of positive things, but to figure out the valuation on it is very difficult, if not impossible. I think those are the pieces that are getting separated, where Warren Buffett is saying from an investment standpoint, this is not valuable. But then on the other side, you see Burlington Northern trying to use the technology to improve how they interact and how they do transportation and in business in general. Another area that's often thought of as very difficult to invest in is the airline business. And if you think of the airline business, just as a business, it's very competitive, very difficult to figure out. But I don't think anyone's sitting around saying, well, I don't think the airline business is going to be around for much longer. I don't think people are going to want to ride in planes or have the ability or need to do it. But to invest in the airline business is very competitive and very difficult. So if you look at cryptocurrencies, I think that similar logic is there, except there's no business component to it. And to say that cryptocurrencies won't be here versus what they're going to be valued at are two completely different things. So trying to think when the next cryptocurrency bull market of 2018 or beyond is going to be, it's very difficult to know. But that doesn't mean that cryptocurrencies won't be valuable or not. They're two completely separate things. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.